Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's a wonderful day here in Phoenix, a beautiful 61 degrees, and the humidity is at 21%. And I hope that wherever you are, you're having is a beautiful day. I know in some parts of the country, you guys are having a tough time there. You know, it's kind of snowing and blizzards and all that stuff, record lows. So I hope that you stay safe and stay warm. And we're just, praying for you and hoping it all goes well for you. 2021, a year of change and challenge. Well, I want to talk to you about something a little bit differently today. Now, last night, Kim and I were talking about something, and I thought I'm going to share this with you guys because it was like eye-opening a little bit to us, and I dove a little bit more into it today. So I want to kind of share with you an overview. But on my private Facebook page for my people today, we're going to be talking about later on at 4. We're going to be talking about the 5 things you need to know. 50 plus, 5 things you need to be doing right now if you're 50 plus regarding your health. 5 things that you need to start doing if you're not doing already. And some of you may be doing them. So we're going to go over those things a little bit later. So if you're not part of my people, then in the description, or I'll make sure that you get access to that. It's drgenejames.com. Count me in. And that's how you can get to it. But I'll be putting you a little something in the description to identify how you can get over to become part of that group. As I mentioned, I only come on here once in a while, even though I've been coming on here more than usual lately because I love you guys. But I don't come on here as much because I'm trying to put everybody into one place so that when I go live, I'm going live to everybody and not just groups over here and the groups over there. All right. So last night, Kim and I were talking about why is there so many people struggle either in relationships or their health fails or going from job to job, or they're going through these different modes. You know, it seems like people can't keep a job or they can't keep a relationship or things in their health struggles. They're always going from one illness to another illness. A lot of disarray. So why do people struggle so much? And other people tend to do a lot better. And then some people are thriving. They never have problems. They really seem like they've got this thing down. And it comes down to basically where they are. And you have to know kind of where you are. There are 3 categories. There are 3 places where you really are in life right now. You're either in this declining mode, you're surviving, or you're thriving. Declining, surviving, or thriving. A person who's declining is a person who's discontent. I mean, they're not happy with where they are. They're unfulfilled. They lack focus. There's no direction in their life. And they're basically just kind of going in from place to place. And they're not seeking destiny. Sometimes they're just content with where they are, content with being discontent. And that's what's called a declining mode. And declining means that you're gradually getting into a worse situation. You're going from one bad situation, you jump onto another situation. Before you know it, it's declining. It's like a slope that's gradually slipping downward. And I see a lot of people do that. They go from one bad relationship to another bad relationship. Or from one job and they can't keep it, and they go to another job and now they got a problem with that one. So their life is in decline. They've got to find out how to turn this whole ship around, because decline doesn't give you anything good. It has no redeeming value. Declining is just a place where you'll be, you're getting older and nothing is happening. There's no satisfaction in your life. There's nothing that's good, and there's nothing that you can celebrate. And at some point that can lead to depression and all kind of issues. So when you're in a point of decline, recognize where you are and know that there's things you need to do to get out of that mode. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but if you are in that state of decline, identify it. Are you in that place where you're unhappy? Are you unfulfilled? Do you lack focus? Are you discontent? I mean, nothing is really going well, and you're constantly going from one bad situation to another. That is a decline mode. The next mode is survival. Survival. And you hear some people brag about that. How you doing? I'm just surviving, And now survival is just a temporary term because you're either getting better or getting worse. Nothing is ever the same. You're either improving gradually, maybe a slight gradual increase, or you're gradually declining. Now, if you think you're surviving, people that are surviving, they're content. They're okay with where things are. Surviving means that you're not trying to make it better, that you're settling, that you're not trying to push to that next level. Surviving. I'm just here by the grace, doing good. Everything seems to be working okay. But if you're not really checking yourself on all levels, the job may be okay. You may be making a little bit of money. Things are coming in okay. Things are good. Relationships are going okay, but you're not focusing on your health, so your health starts to decline. So if you're not striving on trying to push things to another level, you're not going to sustain this whole point of just survival for long. Something's going to either get better or it gets worse. Now it gets better because you're making it better. It doesn't get better because things just happenstance get better. It happens because you are putting in the effort, the time, and the energy toward making it improve. You're going from just surviving to ultimately to thriving. That's where you want to be. But most people get into a survival mode and they just want to hold it there. Pump brakes on survival. No, you won't stay there long. You'll find that you may be in one area, maybe surviving, but you'll find other areas start to decline. So you've got to put energy into all aspects of your life. Job may be going well, but then the relationship starts having a problem. Relationship's good, now financially you're struggling, or you're struggling with your health, because you have to have focus in all areas in order for you to move to the next level. Remember, each rung in the ladder of life is not meant for you to rest upon, but to hold your foot long enough to enable you to place the other a little bit higher. Don't get into a resting mode. If you rest anywhere long enough, you become weary. No matter where you are, if you just rest anywhere in a position, you'll become weary. Your job will weary you. Your relationship will weary you because you have to strive to take it to another level. So if you're not striving to try and move to the next level, you start to shift downward, right? Remember, you don't have to water weeds. You don't have to water them. They're just going to grow, and they'll grow randomly, and they'll choke everything else that's good. Weeds seek to thrive. Weeds want to thrive, and they'll choke away anything that's good because they'll take the nutrients and whatever is good from that because the weeds want to thrive. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about the weeds you smoke, because I know you guys got a different weed in mind. I said weed, you just lost your mind. But I'm talking about bad weeds. So but in order for something good to grow, you have to nurture it. You got to cultivate it. You have to be specific and intentional about making things grow. So if you're not trying to take everything to another level, you'll find yourself gradually shifting down to the lower level. In relationships, for instance, we meet, Kim and I meet every week, and we talk about certain things. There's certain things on our agenda. We call it the agenda. We go over certain things every week, because if you don't go over certain things, the things you don't talk about becomes yesterday's news, and then it slips on the back burner. And then when it does need attention, it needs to be brought current from way back where you stopped talking about it. You just didn't want to talk about it. You didn't bring it up. You didn't want to go there. But you need to go there. You need to go to those places and make sure that everything stays current, and not just current, but you're clearing the air and making sure that you're moving forward and you're progressing. So you're either in the mode of declining, you're in a mode of survival, and ultimately you want to thrive. Thriving means that you're growing. It means you're bearing fruit. It means you're being productive. Things are happening. You have an abundance. You have more than enough. Thriving is the way you're intended to live. An abundance of health, to where you can do whatever you feel like you want to do. You're not hindered by your health or limited by certain things around you. You have an unlimited supply of whatever you need when you're thriving. And that's where you want to be. Not short of money, short of time, short of energy. Everything is short-winded. Everything is short. You want to be in a point where there's abundance, where you're doing well, and you're really knocking out of the park every way that you can. So your mindset has to change. You want to thrive. You no longer want to just survive. You no longer just want to go through just getting along or just barely making it. No, you want to get to that next level, thriving, to push to that next level. Now, to make it easy, those guys that were working on the job, I'll give you an illustration. 3 guys working on the same job. And someone came up to him and asked the first guy, says, "What are you doing?" The first guy had been on the job a long time, and he was bitter. He had been there enough. He was unfulfilled. He was angry. He was argumentative. I says, "What are you doing?" He says, "What does it look like I'm doing? I'm laying bricks. I'm laying bricks." That was his response. That was his attitude toward what he was doing. He could not see beyond the task because he was in a mode of decline. A person that's declining, unfulfilled, lacks focus, they're bitter, they lack direction, and they're deterrent to themselves. So this guy is just on the job. He's only there because he had to be there, doing something he didn't want to do, with people he didn't want to be with, and at a place where he didn't want to be. So that's declining, not happy, not fulfilled. So this guy was bitter. That was his attitude. So when you know people like that, Well, if you're like that, you're in a state of decline. It's just a matter of time before the inevitable happens, that you hit that bump, that place that identifies you, and you have to stop. A person that's in a declining health goes on, their health continues to decline gradually over time, and then they hit a symptom stage. You're diagnosed with a problem. The problem that you're diagnosed with is a symptom of declining health. Whenever there's anything that makes you have to stop, that's because you didn't look at the signs. You didn't look at the place where you are, and things just continue to decline until you reach this place to where you have a symptom, you have a problem, or a diagnosis, or, hey, we got to talk. When you get to that place where you got to talk, that's when we got to talk. That's not a good conversation when we got to talk. When we've got to talk, that means that we didn't talk when we should have talked, and now we get to this road where we've got to talk. You've declined to the point where things have to. It's like paying your bills. When things shut off, you come home and your utilities are shut off, that's because you missed the other notices. You missed the first notice, and you missed the second notice. And then there was something on the third notice. Your next notice is it's over. You're declining because you're not paying attention to the signs. So be aware of the signs and know which direction that you're going. All right? So again, the first guy was angry because he was laying bricks. What does it look like I'm doing? I'm laying bricks. The second guy, they asked him, what are you doing? The second guy stopped for a moment. He says, what I'm really doing is I'm feeding my family. So he looked beyond the fact of the task. Sure, he's laying bricks. He's on a job they may not want to do and something that's maybe not as fulfilling, but he saw purpose in it. He saw something beyond that. And that sustained him. He was not angry or bitter. He saw that what he did really mattered. It mattered to him. It mattered to his family. He connected himself to some purpose, something that made him no longer just in that point of just surviving. He's got to a point where he knows that he's doing something that matters. And then he got to the third guy and they asked him, what are you doing? And the third guy stopped for a moment. He looks around, he looks up, and he says, I'm building a cathedral. And he realized that what he did was way beyond just the bricks that he was laying. He was laying a foundation for the lives that would come in later, the people that's going to be changed. Their lives will be changed by what he's doing. He saw a greater purpose. He connected himself to the big picture. So ultimately, we have to have a big picture that gives us the greatest purpose and meaning in life. Find your big picture. How can you connect to something that gives you the greatest sense of fulfillment? He knew that what he did mattered. He's building a cathedral. And when it is completed, he can look back with pride and say, my God, I worked on that. I helped build that. And his children and his children's children can say, my daddy built that. Or my granddaddy built that. That's a legacy. You're laying down something that's beyond you. So go from not just survival or declining. Seek to thrive. Seek to find the greatest purpose in what you do. So how do we do that? All right, I'm glad you asked. 3 things you'll need to do and need to identify in order to get you to the next level. To go from declining to surviving, or from surviving to thriving. There's 3 things you need to make use of. The one thing you're going to need to help get you out of that mode, to take you to the next level, is people. People, that's right. If you could do it alone, you would have done it by now. Some people are stuck. Some are stuck because they have not identified the right people, because we all got people, right? Everybody's got people. I got people. I grew up with people. Wasn't the right people, but I grew up with people. And you got people right now in your life, but they may not be the right people. So you need to get the right people that's going to help you to go to the next level. And there may be people that may not look like you, may not talk like you, or act like you, or may not even like you. But that doesn't matter. Sometimes you're in a place in an environment where you've got to shed some things in you as you're growing. They don't like me. The people are like it. That's not why you're there for them to like you. You're there with a purpose. You're meant to go to another place. And some people have gotten tripped up because they didn't like where they were. Sometimes you go through a season of life where you got to just bear it. You've got to grin and bear it. I always listen to my grandparents in the back of my mind. When I want to whine and complain, I hear them saying, boy, shut up. Because they have dealt with so much. They have fought and bled and marched and died for the privileges that we have. So we have no rights to whine when we're standing on their shoulders. We should be paving way for the next generation. So when you're going through some difficult times, They can explain difficulty to you. You don't know difficulty. We don't know. We have no idea how difficult things really can be because we have not lived and climbed up the rough side of the mountain like they have. So whenever I think about that, I got to know I can get through this. I can make it through this. I owe it to those that went before me to make it through this. So you have to look beyond you. A lot of times, put yourself aside, how you're feeling aside, and know that you've got to make it beyond this. So you got to get people around you. Find the people that can help you. So where do I find these people? Destiny finds those people for you. When you get on a certain track and your mind is made up that you're not turning around, that you're going to get out of this, no excuses. You're going to make it through this. People will show up. Everything that you're looking for is looking for you. But when you got excuses in mind and you're looking for excuses and you're always trying to find a loophole or a way out or find tricks of the trade, you'll never get there. You'll never get there. Because the people that you're looking for, you won't find in those areas of life. When you are destined to make things happen, when you're ready to go get it, when you're ready to take no excuses, take no prisoners, you'll be amazed how many people you'll find around you that's willing to help you and go with you all the way. So the first thing you're going to need to get people. The next thing is resources. What do you need to learn? Something you got to learn. You got to figure out what do you need. Maybe go back to school, get more training. Maybe you need to get more equipment. You need to learn some things, learn more programs about software, educate yourself. But there's some resources that you need to bring along to allow you to accomplish this task. It's going to cost you. Whatever you want to do, you realize you got to pay the cost. You don't get anything in life for free. Can I get an amen on that? You don't get, if you want it, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to be willing to strive for it and make sure you stay until it's done. I remember Muhammad Ali had this poem. He says, stay in college, get the knowledge, stay there till you're through. Because if they can make penicillin out of molded bread, they can sure make something out of you. So stay there until you get whatever it is that you're determined to get. The resources that you need to make it. Don't stop until you get everything that you need in order to be successful. Some people jump ahead of themselves. They haven't gotten everything that they need in order to make it work, and they cannot sustain it. They only prepare for a certain level of growth. They can only go so far because they didn't really equip themselves with everything they needed to make that happen. So you need the people. You need resources. And the last thing you'll need in order to be successful, to get you to the next level, is time. Time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen right away. It's going to take time to get to where you want to be. You've got to be willing to spend the time. It's sad that I've seen some of the people got so close to being done and they quit so close to being done. You know, they were almost there, but then they tripped over their own shoelaces, their own excuses, their own pity parties, whatever it was. They tripped over it and they didn't make it. You were so close. And tell you, things are very difficult. Sometimes they get most difficult at that hour when you're almost there. It says it's dark as right before the dawn. You've heard that? Sometimes it's dark as before the dawn. Before you get there, sometimes it seems like you can't go another step. That's called transition. Transition. When you pushed and you strived and you struggled and you just, you cried. You just don't feel like you can go on any further and you just want to give up. You're angry and you just, you feel like you want to give in. I'm telling you, you're so close. I've been there. I mean, you are so close. You know, when we have home births, I'm going to share this real quick. Kim, when we have home births, all of our children were born at home. What an amazing woman. And three of the births were underwater births. So all home births with the children. And I watched when Kim go through the laboring process. There's a point in labor, and sometimes when you're going through what you're going through, you're going to labor to get there. You're going to labor to get to what you want. Before you get there, you deliver to whatever you want to have. A process of labor you go through is just like deliverance labor. You're going to start off, it's going to be all nice and good. Everything's fine. It's good. Like when a woman's pregnant, oh, she's showing a little bit. Oh, yeah, she's a couple months. She's coming along. It's nice. It's wonderful. And people are congratulating you and you feel good. And then as it grows inside of you, it becomes a little bit uncomfortable because change is happening. Changes not only in your physical appearance, but changes internally, changes mentally, emotionally are happening. As you're growing, expect change to happen. You won't be the same person on the outside as you are going in. You're going to change. Accept the change. And change sometimes brings challenges, and change is uncomfortable. Go with it. Know that you can make it through that. So when Kim goes through that, she gets through this point, and let's get to the point of delivery, where now she's at the point where she's about to deliver. The birth pains are starting to happen, and the contractions are there. And it's becoming where it's, she's no longer modest, where she's no longer aware of her surroundings. One thing is in mind. She's got to get this out. She wants this to be over. And that's when a lot of people they get angry with their husband. It's your fault. And they want to just rip it open, a C-section, epidural. They just want to get this done because they can't deal with this anguish of going through what they have to go through. And everybody goes through the same thing. To get there, everybody goes through it. So you have to kind of put your mind in the fact that if other people can do it, you can too. Is it difficult? Yes. It may be the most difficult thing that you'll ever have done in your life, but also be the most fulfilling thing you'll ever have done in your life. You'll look back and you'll share that with more people as you're trying to encourage them. You'll share your difficulties. You'll share those hardships and how they have to just stay with it and make it through it. But you have to be the lesson. You have to teach yourself the lesson as you're going through that. So when we're getting to that point to where just before the baby's about to come out, just before she's about to this baby about to be delivered, she's at that point where she's saying, like, Sheena, and I'm there all the time. The husband's there with her. She's like, Sheena, I can't do it. I can't do it. And she's like, and I'm like, okay, baby, just calm down. Just breathe. Just breathe. All right, just breathe. Calm down. And I'm trying to get her to calm down. I'm there. I'm the coach. That's called husband-coached childbirth. So I'm there calming her down through this. Okay, just breathe. All right, you're going to make it. Come on, it's almost there. The baby's almost here. It's almost here. You can do it. Come on, we can make it. Come on, just a few more minutes. It's going to be here. Just calm down. And she's holding on. Just loosen up. Just lighten up. Ease up, ease up, ease up. I'm right here. I'm right here. And you've got to hear that voice inside of you. Something's got to steer you through the process of transition, because to be delivered is difficult. And then she gets to this point to where something overtakes her. It's like her help comes in. And I'm no longer there as far as what she needed me to a point, but then now her strength comes. When you're determined, there's a strength you gain that helps you through this end point. It's like they call it a second wind, or that kick, or whatever you have when you're in events. But you gain something, an energy, a strength, a purpose, a cause, a greater power that'll help you through that. And then I see her transition into that, and she's like, whew. And she's got this. She's got this. And it's like one push, and it's there. It's there. It may not have been easy, but she had to go through that. And as you're going through, getting to where you need to get to the point where you want to thrive, you're going to go through transitions. We all go through transitions. There was a song, time is filled with swift transitions. Not on earth unmoved can change, but put your faith and hope in things eternal. Hold to God's unchanging hand. So during those times when you're struggling, you've got to place your hand in God's hands. He is that guide, that strength that can only pull you through. Mama can't do it. Daddy can't do it. Your husband can't do it. At some point, you've got to put your hands in his hand, and he'll pull you through it. He'll make you through. You'll find a way out of no way, but you'll get through this thing. But give it the time that it needs to. Everything that's worthwhile takes a while, right? Everything that's worthwhile takes time. Be patient with time. Be patient with the process, right? All right, so I talked about a lot today, and I went a little longer than I really intended on going, but I hope you're getting it. If you're getting it, just send me something saying that you got it or you're getting it. I'm going to go through and then see if my people, see who's online, and get your comments now. Because it's worth hearing. Some things are worth sharing. If you found value in what I'm saying today, I want you to share it with somebody. Just let anybody know. Let them know, hey, this is worth listening to. There are people who are struggling, and some people just will not be there to help, just to give them a helping hand or a word, or maybe bring them something that can help them along the way. The way I see it, we're all just beggars telling other beggars where they can find bread. And that's what you're doing. You're just trying to find your way and then going back and helping somebody with that place where they need to be, So let me see what my people are saying. All right, I got it. Ali, what's going on, Ali? Good, you got it. Amen. Good, thank you. Donna's on. Donna, how are you? Haven't seen Donna in a long time. I see you sometimes with the kids, and I'm wishing you so well, that things are going well with you. To Bonte, you're here again. Good to see you. Good to see you back here. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you for your comments. Please share this with somebody. Share it. I know some of you may not able to see the whole thing. You'll catch it later. I want to end with one kind of like a little final story about how you can, what you have to do to get this right attitude to be there. There was an event, a challenge between a champion and a challenger, and they were woodsmen. And they were the challenge was who could chop down the most trees in a 12-hour period, the most trees. So the champion had the security of being the champion. The challenger was stronger. The challenger was more determined. He knew that this time, by the end of the day, he knew there's nothing going to stop him from being the new champion. So he was ready and determined to get rid of this stigma and become the new champion. So they started off everything being equal. They chopped down the same number of trees the first hour. Then the second hour, everything was good. And then something happened at the end of the second hour. The champion stopped, sat down for 10 minutes and rested. The challenger just kept going. He's thinking, I'm going to be that much further ahead. This old man done stopped already. I'm just going to keep going. Well, they went in the second hour, the fourth hour. The champion stopped again. 10 minutes. The challenger just kept going. He just kept going. And at the end of the day, when they tallied it all up, the champion had stopped 6 times during the day. That's the whole hour he had stopped. 10 minutes to rest. When they tallied up the total of the trees, the champion was still the champion. He had chopped down 20% more trees than the challenger, even though he had stopped and rested 10 minutes almost every hour, over an hour of rest. The challenger was devastated. How could this be? Because he never stopped. He had worn himself out and he still lost. Well, the champion did 2 things. One thing, when he stopped those 10 minutes, he rested. The next thing he did, this is critical, he sharpened his axe. Yeah, he sharpened his axe. So it gave him a fresh start, allowing him to do more than the ones that just continuing to push and push and push. So sometimes you could be pushing and wearing yourself out. But as I said, stop. Sharpen your axe. What are your resources? What's your time you need? Who are the people that you need? Work smarter rather than harder. Make 2021 your best year yet. You know, it's not, you're not there yet. I mean, nobody's there yet. We always are striving to get there. I'm still trying to get there. And as I get there, I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you everything I learned along the way. And then as you share that with someone else and let them know that they can do it, and it's an easier way and there's a better way. And that's how we make this world a great world, a better place for everybody. All right? Thank you guys for being on. Thank you for sharing with me. And we need to see if any last comments here along the way. All right. Yes. You're glad that we're doing well. Thank you for your good wishes, Donna. Okay, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day. The ones that are my people on to our private group, we'll be talking about 5 things you got to do, 50 and on, to make your life and health the best that it can be. All right. Love you guys. See ya.